Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video, and I'm sure you saw the thumbnail and the title, so let's just get right into the list. So, first on the list we have Mayhem and Acheron. You're probably wondering why they're on the list because they're both already verified and rated. Well, the reason they're on there is because Mayhem and Acheron are both verified and rated, yes, but they're not placed on the demon list yet. Once they are placed on the demon list, I'll get them off the list, but for now they're going to stay just because their process of becoming a real top 1, top 5, top 10 demon is not really completed yet. Just wanted to note, cool thing, depending on who you ask, Tartarus is about to fall off of the top 10 because once Mayhem and Acheron are placed, which will probably both place above Tartarus, it's in the number 9 spot right now. It'll be pushed to the number 11 spot. So that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. I just thought that was a cool thing. Next on the list, we have Unknown. Now, I will say the verifier if I can. Unknown's verifier is Kiwi, but I don't know the verifier for all these, or they just don't have a verifier yet because they're too early in the process, or they haven't decided on one yet, or they're going to make it an open verification. I don't know. All this research I did myself, so if you find yourself being like, okay, wait, he missed this information here, please just leave it in the comments. I don't know everything. I don't claim to. And if you find anything that I missed or that I got wrong, please tell me. Anyway, Kiwi has a 95% record on Unknown, which means it's the closest technically to being verified. Next on the list is Edge of Destiny, which is being verified by Poltergeist. Poltergeist has 44 to 100 on it, as well as a few other records, so he's doing pretty well, and he's been making a lot of progress. We could probably see a verification from this soon. Next we have Limbo. Limbo is being verified by Bgram, who has an 89% record on it. Now, Bgram got this record back in May, so he hasn't made a whole lot of progress recently, but he does say that streams will be back soon, which probably, hopefully, means progress. Next on the list is Pukubed, which is, I think, being verified by Zoink. Again, I don't have all the information, and even though it says on Chris's video that Zoink is verifying it, I haven't seen any progress on Zoink's channel or really any mention at all about Pukubed. So I don't really know who's verifying it, but Chris did post on their channel that somebody, I don't know who, but somebody got 82 on Pukubed. Next we have Unnerved Innards. As far as I can tell, Unnerved Innards is a open verification, and a lot of people have been making progress on it. Dice88 made some progress on it, though I think he dropped it. Speedy Muffin has made some progress on it, and even Nswish has made progress on it, though the guy who has the most progress on it is Nswish with 82. Next on the list is Kyuki. Kyuki's being verified by some name that I can't pronounce, but I'm just going to call them by the right side of this name, which says Demi Shio, as far as I can pronounce that. And they have 78 on the level, which they actually got fairly recently, so we could possibly see a verification from Demi Shio soon. Next we have a Nemesis. The Nemesis is being verified by Swyborg, who has 53 on it. Next on the list we have Hybrids Deimos. Hybrids Deimos is being verified by Blitzer, who has 32 on the level. The other Deimos by Skelly is also being verified by Swyborg, and Swyborg has 26 on it. It's worth noting that the most recent progress that Swyborg has made has been on a Nemesis, so if you're debating which one will be verified first, it's probably a Nemesis, and then Swyborg will probably try to verify Deimos. Next on the list we have Sweeping Demon 2, which is a sequel to Sweeping Demon by Temp. Thunder GD is verifying it and has 71 to 100, as well as a few other runs on it. Next we have what I think is pronounced Cosmos. Cosmos doesn't have a verifier as far as I can tell, and I'm pretty sure the deco is complete, but there hasn't been any official showcase so far. So as far as I can tell, the deco is pretty late in the process, but it's not completely finished. Next we have the Rockhouse. Now as far as I can tell, the Rockhouse's deco is complete and it does not have a verifier, but chances are, even if it does get verified, it won't get rated, and it'll probably just be the level that stays on the unrated demons list the longest as top 1. Next we have Natural Disaster. Now Natural Disaster is in a bit of a weird place. It doesn't have a verifier, and the deco I think is complete, but there's also been a few remakes of Natural Disaster going around YouTube, which I'm not sure if they're official or not, so I don't know if it's getting like an official remake, because the level is technically possible, and it's top 1 difficulty, but there's just nobody who's willing to verify it, so maybe they're trying to nerf it to make it different. As far as I can tell, the remake is like completely different from the original, but yeah, I really don't know what's going on with this level, but the original Natural Disaster level is complete, so if anybody wanted to verify it and they had the permission, they technically could go and do that right now. Next on the list, we have Corrupted Planet. And Corrupted Planet's also in a bit of a weird place because I can't really tell whether the deco is complete or not. It looks complete, but there hasn't been any real official showcase, and no one seems to be verifying it yet. So it's in a bit of a weird place. Next on the list, we have The Devil. I'm not really sure who's verifying The Devil. I think it might be Open Verification, but I do know that Paco has the best record on it with 41 to 85. Or at least maybe that's the best record, I don't know. But The Devil's also in a bit of a weird place, but I believe its deco is complete, which is 1.9 themed. Next we have Diabolic Clubstep, specifically the redeco, which is aimed to be verified and rated. Now, the redeco is, I think, set to be verified by Savant, the same person who verified the original version. Sorry if I butchered that name. And they haven't really made any progress yet because the redeco was recently showcased, but that's the state that it's in right now. Next on the list we have Ruthless. Ruthless, as far as I can tell, is in the late deco process, and it's almost complete with its deco, but there's just a few parts that need to be done. It doesn't have a verifier as far as I can tell. Next on the list we have Eric's. Now, Eric's, it has been complete and it was showcased recently, and Zany is currently finding a verifier for Eric's. I don't know if it's open verification, but either that or he's just trying to find a verifier. Next on the list we have Shinigami. Now, Shinigami is another level that has a ton of unofficial showcases, but there's not been any official showcase. As far as I can tell from watching different compilations of the level, there are 3 missing parts to Shinigami, possibly with others needing to be redone or added. Next on the list, we have the Amethyst. The Amethyst is set to be verified by Beastchiller, and it's in the late deco process. There's been a few unofficial showcases, again, of the Amethyst, but as far as I can tell, it's not completely finished. Next on the list, we have Spectre. Spectre is missing 6 parts out of 18, as far as I can tell, with, I think, 4 of those parts being parts that have yet to be completed, one of those parts being a part that has to be redone, and another one of those parts being a part that is a creator contest. The creator contest ended on August 21st, which was a couple weeks ago, so that part is probably in yet. We just haven't seen it yet. Next on the list, we have the Thinking Space sequel, which still hasn't received an official name. The Thinking Space sequel, again, I looked through some compilations and some parts that were finished, and as far as I can tell, there are 3 missing parts of the sequel, so it looks like it's actually almost complete. Next on the list, we have Ascension to Heaven. Ascension to Heaven is set to be verified by Denny and has 6 parts complete, as far as I can tell, so it's pretty far from being complete since it's a really long level. Next on the list, we have Down Base Incarnate. Now, Down Base Incarnate is in a really weird place because I'm not really sure if it's complete yet. It looks like some parts are way outdated compared to others, and I really don't know what's going on. So, yeah, and there hasn't been any real progress on anything related to the level in the recent months. So, I really don't know what's going on with Down Base Incarnate. If anybody can tell me about that, I'd appreciate it because I just don't know. Next, we have Eternal Night. Now, Eternal Knight's set to be verified by Cursed, who has made a bit of progress on the level, but that's on the old version. There's a revamp that's in progress right now, and the revamp, as far as I can tell, has 1 part done that I can find. So, either the revamp's really early in the process, or they're just not showing us some of the parts, but as far as I can tell, it's far from complete, so it might be a while until we see Cursed genuinely try to verify it. Next on the list, we have Grief. Grief is set to be verified by Doggy and into the somewhat early deco process. We recently got a preview from Ice Cave, and I've also seen a few other preview parts showing up around YouTube, so it's safe to say it's in the pretty early deco phase, but it's getting there. Next on the list, we have Centipede, which is set to be verified by Lord Vadercraft. Now, on the post that the host confirmed that Lord Vadercraft was the verifier, they also said we'd be getting an update video soon. That update video isn't out as far as this video, but as far as we know, it's in the early deco process. There's a few parts done. It's a mid-length level, so you could say it's in the early deco process, and it's pretty far from being complete. Next on the list, we have Saul Goodman, which is a very recently previewed level that's by Ren241, and it's in the early deco process. I'm really not sure if this is a serious level or not, but I think it is. I don't know. Next on the list, we have Avernus, which is in a bit of a weird spot because it's gone through a lot of hosts. And most recently, Womb used to be the host, and they passed it on to AKR. And I don't know who that is. I can't find them anywhere on YouTube, so I don't really know what's going on. But as far as I know, it's in the deco process, I think. It's almost done as far as I know. But yeah, Woom dropped being the host and they gave it over to whoever AKR is. Moving on, we have Entourage. Entourage is also in the early deco process. There's been a few previews and there's been a few deco parts that I've seen, but as far as I know, this level's also in the pretty early deco process. It's a pretty short level, so it shouldn't take super long to completely decorate it. Next on the list, we have Terran. Terran has gotten a ton of previews recently, and it looks like we're going to get another one soon, but as far as I know, it's in the pretty early deco process. Next on the list, we have Adramelech. Adramelech hasn't seen really any activity for a while, and it's also in the very, very early deco process. Actually, I think it's still just a layout, so yeah, admittedly, this should be lower on the list, but yeah, there it is. Next on the list, we have Nibelheim, or however you pronounce that. It's set to be verified by Beastular, who participated in a race to get to 20%, and whoever could was the verifier. I'm pretty sure Beastular is going to verify the Amethyst before he verifies Nibelheim. But yeah, he's verifying 2 top 1 projects. And Nibelheim, as far as I can tell, is in the very early deco process, which has like about 2 parts done, being like the very first part and then the end screen. Next on the list, we have Starfall. I really don't know much about Starfall besides the fact that it is in the deco process and in that it's a way lesser known upcoming top 1. Next on the list, we have Vehemence, which is also in the deco process. Not really much to say about it, but it is set to be verified by One Shot Nico. Next on the list, we have Death Corridor, which is set to be verified by Kugelblitz. Kugelblitz has yet to make any meaningful progress on the level recently, but they are the set verifier. Next on the list, we have Galaxy Collapse. Galaxy Collapse is to be verified by Trusta, I think. And as far as I can tell by looking at showcases and other compilations, there's about 7 or more parts missing to it. It's a pretty big collab, and there's a lot of parts missing, and I haven't really seen any progress or activity with this level recently, so it looks like it might be a while until it's released. Next on the list, we have Amber. Now, Amber's getting an unofficial decoration from somebody who is not Stormfly, who is the creator of the level. Amber was a part of the Needle trilogy, which is just 3 really hard layouts that Stormfly made, and someone wanted to actually decorate Amber. I really don't know when the decoration will be complete. I think it is complete, just no one has tried to verify it yet. It's in a bit of a stalemate. Next on the list, we have the Apocalyptic trilogy, which is set to be verified by Toka. That information was from like a year ago, though, so Toka might not still be the chosen verifier, but who knows. Anyway, the Apocalyptic trilogy is not finished, unsurprisingly, and there hasn't been any activity with it recently. Next on the list, we have Yggdrasil, or Yggdrasil, or Yggdrasil, I don't know. And it's a collab hosted by Kriz, and it's getting deco as far as I can tell, but it's pretty early in the process, and it's a pretty new project, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's meant to be top 1. Next on the list, we have Vivisect. Really nothing to say about this. It looks red, and it's in the early deco process. Next on the list, we have Heliopolis. Now, Heliopolis actually used to be at like the very, very low part of the list. It was like the second to last level. But recently, we got a preview from Mindcat about Heliopolis, and it's actually getting decorated. The deco looks pretty cool, and it's, as far as we can tell, in the early deco process. Next on the list, we have Abyss of Darkness 2. Abyss of Darkness 2, as far as I can tell, is in the pretty early deco process, and even when it does get decorated, it'll be a while before it gets verified. It doesn't have a set verifier, speaking of which, and that's really all I can say right now. Next on the list, we have Azure Flare, which was set to be verified by Aiden, but recently Aiden made it an open verification because it's just such a hard level, and really anybody should attempt to try to verify it, but it's really hard. Most people consider it to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest, upcoming top 1 right now. So, yeah. There is a redeco in progress as far as I know, but I don't think it's complete. Next on the list, we have Return Zero. Now, Return Zero, I think, is set to be verified by Nepesta. I don't know if this was just a joke Nepesta made, or if they actually made it official, but it would be pretty funny and awesome to see if he actually was the verifier. Right now, its layout is not finished, and there's a bit of deco, as you can see in this teaser from Minecraft. But as far as I know, it's pretty far from being even complete because it's a super long level. If we only have like one part of deco complete right now, it'll be a very long time until the full level is released. Next on the list, we have Element 111RG. As far as I can tell, the last preview we got from Stormfly was like 5 months ago, and we haven't really gotten any say on it since then. Next on the list, we have the Tun 618 remake. Now, this has, I think, just like one part done. I don't even know if it's like a really official remake or if it's even meant to be something that someone's supposed to verify because it looks really hard. But I can't judge difficulty because I'm the kind of guy who thinks Bloodbath looks as hard as Artificial Ascent, if not harder. Anyway, the Tun 618 remake looks pretty good, and it doesn't have any set verifier, and it's super early in the deco process. It might not even be complete, so we'll see what happens with that. Next on the list, we have Memorized. Now, you probably have never heard of Memorized before. If you have, good job, but it's a pretty unknown level. It's a 5-minute memory level, which is aimed to be top 1, or at least top 10, who knows. And there are a few parts that are done with the deco, or maybe, semi-complete, I don't know. But it's pretty early in the deco process. But it looks like the creators of the level have recently, or at least somewhat recently, gotten back together and actually tried to revive the level. Next on the list, we have Anathema. Anathema's deco will be finished soon, I think, which is all I have written on the document. Next on the list, we have Flashbang. Flashbang just got previewed, like for its first preview by Lord Vadercraft and a few others, so it's safe to say that it's pretty early in the deco process and won't get released for a while. Next on the list, we have Aquamarine. Aquamarine is, I don't know, a lot of people don't like it. I think actually the deco, which is in progress, looks pretty good. Concerning as a short level, it might be finished soon, but again, there's not like any meaningful progress on it that we've seen. Nobody's really like jumping on the opportunity to redeco Aquamarine, so it's getting there. I think maybe most people don't want it to get there, so we'll see what happens. Next on the list, we have Waterfall. Waterfall is a Cherry Team project that looks like it's very early in the deco process. It looks like their next goal is to release Shinigami, so I'd be surprised if Waterfall was the next release project of theirs, and it's pretty early in the deco process, but I believe the layout is complete. Yay! Next on the list, we have Waru. Waru is just a layout that XN made, not much else to say. Next on the list, we have Sequence, which is just another layout that a guy made. I think this one was by Bo. Not much else to say. This one probably won't get verified. It's pretty under the radar. Next on the list, we have Amaterasu. Amaterasu is also just a layout. Not much else to say. It's just not really getting complete. Next on the list, we have Nahama, which is another upcoming top 1 that not a lot of people know about, but it is also just a layout and doesn't really have any meaningful deco. Next on the list, we have Sweeping Demon. Sweeping Demon is basically complete in deco. No one's trying to redeco it, and if it got verified, it probably wouldn't get rated. So that's probably why no one's trying to verify it, or just because it's really hard. And it's also a dead level, so I don't know why I put it on this list, but yeah, it's there, I guess. Next on the list, we have Orochi. Now, Orochi was a level that was previewed a very long time ago, and I think now it's getting a redeco, but I basically have not seen any progress from the redeco so far. That's why it's so low down on the list. Next on the list, we have How Confusing Is the Level, and it's an open verification as far as I can tell. It's complete, but it doesn't have a verifier, as I said. Next on the list, we have Misanthrope. Now, Misanthrope is I think it's an open verification. Trick has the best progress on it with 31%. That's really good. That's a whole third of the level. And Misanthrope is, it doesn't have any deco yet, and probably will never have deco. Moving on, we have Africa Circles. Africa Circles also has deco, and I think the creator actually wanted it to get nerfed and verified just to get it released once and for all. But I haven't seen anything happen with it, and nobody's basically made any progress on it. So if this was the next top 1 to be verified, I'd be extremely impressed and surprised. Next on the list, we have Erasis and Volnix. They kind of go together. They are the other parts of the Needle trilogy that I mentioned earlier by Stormfly. That's like just really hard layouts. But unlike Amber, these ones aren't getting any unofficial redecos as far as I can tell. So they're just kind of staying as layouts now. They'll maybe get picked up later in the future as like former Impossible levels. That would be cool. But for now, Stormfly says that both of them are harder than VSC. So next on the list we have Chaotix Wave, which was set to be verified by Prolix GD. Not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but hopefully it's right. But Prolix GD was set to verify it 3 years ago, so I think it's safe to say the level's dead by this point. You might realize that just all the levels at the end of this list are just kind of there to be there, and none of them I think are ever going to get verified. Next we have Exasperation, which is it's getting a redeco. Maybe the last time we saw an update from it was like forever ago, so I don't know if that's really going through. Well, it's a pretty long level, so if it is, then it's going to take a while. And then finally, the last spot on our list, a bit of a joke spot, but I put the human limit here because I saw the post where Sneeze said that the human limit was to be canceled, or at least he put a poll which said, should we cancel the human limit or not? And everybody voted yes. I don't know why, but I've seen a few posts from him recently that said the human limit is almost finished, so I'm just really confused on what this level is doing right now. Maybe it's canceled, maybe it's not, maybe it got uncanceled somehow, but, that's happening as well. Anyway, that concludes the list. I'll make any changes to it and maybe update it, like, every once in a while, but this is the list right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you stayed through this whole thing, good job, you're awesome, you're cool. I do also just want to say I spent a lot of time researching, editing, and just making other changes to this project, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and join my massive following. Also, if you share or like the video, really anything that helps the video out, I'd appreciate. Also, if you could leave a comment, like I said before, about any critiques you have, I'd appreciate those as well, but obviously, you don't have to. And if you're wondering why I want subscribers or anything, it's not because I want fame or, money. It's just because I want to reach 1,000 subscribers, because then I can put timestamps in my videos.